big time. Did you watch that Denver Nuggets Portland Trailblazers game last night? Oh me, oh my. Wow. That was one of the greatest performances in a losing effort that I've ever seen. The Portland Trailblazers lost to the Denver Nuggets 147 to 140 in double overtime last night. But let's be clear, it was not because of Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard absolutely went ballistic. He was in another state, in another element in his bag. He dropped 55 points in the loss yesterday. And first of all, the Trailblazers were down by 22 points with about 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. So it already looked like a dire situation at that point in the game. And then all of a sudden, Damian Lillard starts going off, 55 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. But get this, he scored 55 points on 24 shots. He was 17 of 24 from the floor, 12 of 17 from the three-point line. He was absolutely magical yesterday, just sensational. I mean, first of all, he hit 11 point. He hit 4 or 5 shots in the fourth quarter, 11 points, hit that ridiculous step back three over Michael Porter Jr., who's 6'10". Damian Lillard is probably 6'1", maybe 6'2". Hits that tough three-pointer. First of all, he's fouled on a three-point attempt. They review it. They reverse the call. They don't give him the 3 free throws. Then he comes back, sticks a 3 in Michael Porter Jr.'s face. Clutch shot to send it to overtime. Then in overtime, he also goes 4 or 5 for 11 points and hits a spinning step-back three-pointer over Shaq Harrison to send it into double overtime. The shots that he was hitting were absolutely sensational. And get this, Damian Lillard scored or assisted on 37 of the Portland Trailblazers' 42 points in the fourth quarter. And he scored or assisted on the Blazers' 80 points, which is the most for a playoff game in NBA history. It's tied for the most ever in an NBA playoff game history. And his 55 points are the third most ever in a playoff loss. What this feels like to me, this is the epitome of Jerry West. This must be what Jerry West felt like after losing to the Boston Celtics in 7 games in 1969 when he won the Finals MVP. He lost by 2 points in Game 7, 108 to 106. And he averaged about 38 points a game. And he won the Finals MVP. It was the first time ever that a member of the losing team won the Finals MVP award on a losing effort. Or in 1970, when Jerry West again, and I apologize for Jerry West being the butt end of the stick here. He's a transcendent player. He's the logo. But even in 1970, Game 3 against the Knicks, he hits the half-court shot about 60 feet away, banks it in against the New York Knicks in Game 3 to send it to overtime, and the Lakers end up losing that game and losing that series to the Knicks. Tied it at 102. They lost 111 to 108. So this must be what Jerry West is thinking when he's watching this performance from Damian Lillard result in a losing effort. Now, listen, give credit to the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic was fantastic, 38 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. Austin Rivers chipped in with 18 points. Michael Porter Jr. hit the game-sealing three-pointer from the corner with 26 points. Monte Morris came off the bench and dropped 28. So the Nuggets were locked in, and give credit to Coach Mike Malone. This was a team that responded after being called out brutally, just a scathing call out from their head coach after getting blown out in Portland in Game 4. They responded and stepped up to the challenge in Game 5 at home. But make no mistake, this was an absolutely demoralizing loss for the Portland Trailblazers for a number of reasons. Not only do you now waste away his heroics in Damian Lillard. Normally, when you score 55 points on the road, you should win that game. But beyond that, his teammates didn't even help him out. Robert Covington missed a blown dunk, a wide-open dunk. He cocked it back too hard and missed it. CJ McCollum steps out of bounds on the sideline when you're down 3 in double overtime, trying to tie it with a chance to tie it. And you turn the ball over. On a night when this guy is dropping 55 for you, he even banked in a 3, which is typically a harbinger for a win. That's normally a tell sign that this team is going to win this game. What this reminds me of, this is akin to LeBron James in the 2018 Game 1 Finals against the Golden State Warriors, where he drops 51 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and George Hill splits a pair of free throws down the stretch, and J.R. Smith forgets the time and score, forgets the clock situation, and they end up losing overtime. That marvelous performance, all for nothing. The closest thing when it comes to degree of difficulty, now these next examples were all en route to an actual win, a winning performance in the postseason, but I have to think back to Reggie Miller's 8 points in 9 seconds as far as degree of difficulty, or Tracy McGrady, 13 points in 33 seconds against the Spurs, or Kobe in 2013 against the Raptors, where he makes 3 3-pointers in the final minute in regulation to send it to overtime. Then he runs past Aaron Gray and dunks it home in overtime to seal the win. I have to think back to those types of performances, but those all resulted in wins. This resulted in a loss. And it's unfortunate because for the Portland Trailblazers, this is their reality. The last 5-6 years, you've got a franchise player and a true leader and one of the clutchest performers in NBA history in Damian Lillard. And for the last 5-6 years, this has been their ceiling. They're a really good team, but they have an inherent ceiling. And it's not Damian Lillard's fault. There's got to be some shakeup there. Even if they go on to win this series, it just further elucidates and highlights some of the shortcomings of this roster surrounding Damian Lillard. And this roster isn't good enough to win a championship. And it's a shame because when you have a talent like that who's so dialed in, that's what you're expecting. That's what you're expecting. So it's just a shame that a performance like that, which was one of the historically great postseason performances, has to go out the window like that. But it is what it is.